From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
The inauguration, it is Inauguration Day in America, and we're breaking down the events taking place today as the country installs its 46th president.
Plus, faith leaders here in Indianapolis are praying for the new administration. New at 4:30, their message for the nation's new leaders.
And here at 4:30, I want to thank you for joining our team on this Wednesday morning. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Megan Shin. Of course, we're joined by Todd Clausen. And Todd, man, the sun is just around the corner, hopefully.
Yeah, you know, we're about to enter a pretty quiet stretch of weather, right? That's the good news. We'll have bright skies, no threat of any significant precipitation heading our way. Temperatures, though, still going to be up and down. It's chilly this morning in the 20s and 30s across the area, but that wind kicked back in yesterday evening, and so we have to factor in wind chills as well. So that's what the actual temperatures are. This is what it feels like. 15 right now in Indy, 14 in Lafayette, 19 is the wind chill value in Muncie, and 18 in Bloomington. Really need to bundle up here as you get going on this Wednesday morning. The good news is the skies are clear. Can't really see much on that camera shot right now. We'll change it up for you here in just a second. But we have some flurries that still remain. They're not going to cause much of an issue there in northern locations over towards Muncie and into the Winchester area. A little bit of cloud cover this morning, but the overall trend throughout the day today will be for the clouds to decrease. The temperature won't really do a whole lot throughout the day today, as we'll only get up to right around 33 degrees. We'll dive more into this extended forecast for you in more detail, Lauren, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a live look right now at your commute. This is over on the near east side of town, I-70 at Rural Street and Keystone Avenue. Traffic is moving along up to speed, as you can see, both eastbound and westbound. No crashes, no delays in this spot to slow down your commute. Of course, we'll keep you updated throughout the morning.
Lauren, thank you. And we're just hours away from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris being sworn in as President and Vice President of the United States.
As ABC's Elizabeth Schulze reports, Biden is expected to lay out his plan for how to unite the country in this time of unprecedented crisis.
In an inauguration unlike any other, Joe Biden is set to become the 46th president of the United States. The president-elect opening his inaugural events with a solemn ceremony at the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. 400 lights to honor the more than 400,000 American lives lost in the pandemic. A sobering reminder of the crisis facing a divided nation as he takes office.
To heal, we must remember.
The president-elect will start his day at church, joined by congressional leaders from both parties. Today, there will be no parade or inaugural balls. Instead of crowds, 200,000 flags will wave from the National Mall. Sources tell ABC News Biden will project a message of unity in his inaugural address. Speaking from the same sacred place that was stormed by pro-Trump rioters exactly 2 weeks ago. The Capitol is now surrounded by armed Guard members, barricades, and checkpoints. 25,000 National Guard members on hand to ensure a peaceful transfer of power. In a farewell video, President Trump wished Biden well without naming him.
This week we inaugurate a new administration and pray for its success.
The president spent his final hours at the White House issuing a slew of pardons, including to former advisor Steve Bannon. Trump will break 150 years of tradition by not attending the inauguration. But Biden and Harris will be joined by former Presidents Obama, Clinton, and Bush after the swearing in to lay a wreath at Arlington National Cemetery's Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The former vice president will return to the White House this evening as commander-in-chief, prepared to issue a series of executive orders undoing some of Trump's signature policies.
And in a nod to the history she'll be making today, soon-to-be Vice President Kamala Harris will be sworn in using the Bible of Thurgood Marshall, the first black justice on the Supreme Court. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, the Capitol.
Well, now let's take a look at a few more noteworthy events on President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris's schedule. At noon, the White House will shift the Trump administration to the Biden administration when the newly elected pair is sworn in. At 2:25, the president and vice president, along with the First Lady and Second Gentleman, will travel to Arlington National Cemetery for the wreath laying at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Just after 5 o'clock this evening, President-elect Biden will sign executive orders and swear in his day one presidential appointees in a virtual ceremony. And just before 9 o'clock, President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris will give remarks at the Celebrating America inaugural program. Live ABC News coverage of Inauguration Day starts with a special edition of Good Morning America coming up at 7 o'clock.
Lauren, spreading a message of peace. That's the goal of faith leaders who gathered at the State House on Tuesday. Those faith leaders shared a unified prayer for a peaceful transfer of power in our nation's capital on this Inauguration Day. They also prayed for the people who lost loved ones during the pandemic and frontline workers who make sacrifices to keep us healthy, even if it means putting their own health at risk.
Though our prayers and remarks will be concise and with constraints of time, may our commitment to unity, respect, and kindness be sustained long after we're leaving these steps and this moment. In the words of Eugene Peterson, may our faith be demonstrated by a long obedience in the same direction. That direction is love for our neighbor.
The faith members are also urging us to address inequities and boldly face health and safety challenges still ahead of us.
This morning, one person remains in the hospital following a shooting on the city's east side. That shooting happened around 9 o'clock Tuesday night near East 10th Street and Shadeland Avenue. Police say the victim was taken to the hospital in serious condition. Investigators are working to learn what happened in the moments before the gunfire. Now, despite the record number of homicides in Indianapolis, crime in the Circle City was actually down as a whole. Metro Police say that the overall crime fell nearly 9% and violent crime fell about 3.5%. However, despite those decreases, homicides jumped to nearly 40%. The number of robberies and rapes also dropped last year here in Indianapolis.
This morning, a teenager faces charges in connection to a shooting near an elementary school in Fishers. Police say a 15-year-old boy from Indianapolis was arrested. Officers say he's connected to a shooting near 104th Street and Oleo Road. Medics drove the victim to the hospital after getting shot in the leg. Investigators say the victim gave the detailed description of the suspect. But if you have any information about the moments leading up to the shooting, call the Fishers Police Department.
It is 4:37 on our Wednesday. Now let's go to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic and its continued impact on our state. State health leaders report more than 2,700 new cases of the virus. Since the pandemic began, nearly 600,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19. The state also reports 126 more Hoosiers have died with the coronavirus. That's the highest single-day report since January 5th. 78% of the coronavirus deaths across the state are in Hoosiers at least 70 years old.
Now to what one Indiana school district calls an encouraging trend when it comes to safely having kids in the classroom during the pandemic. Leaders with Muncie Community Schools say they're seeing an increase in the number of people interested in becoming substitute teachers. They say having talented and trained subs will help the district provide in-person learning options for students. Substitutes must pass a background check, drug screening, and have a high school diploma. Pay at MCS ranges from $70 to $100 per day.
Subs are critical to be able to operate schools, and now more so than ever. We have teachers that are either quarantined because of being positive or being close contacts, and the amount of time they're out of classrooms is longer than what it's been in the past. So we find a greater need for subs than we've ever had before.
If you're interested in learning more or applying to become a substitute teacher, we have a link on our website, hiringhoosiers.com.
Someone broke into the house, duct taped everyone, and took 2 kids.
A heartbreaking and terrifying 911 call. Details of the moment when 2 children were abducted from their foster home. That's just ahead this morning. We'll have the latest on the search for those young kids.
Plus, nearly a dozen shops and restaurants will call a new development on the near West Side home. Up next, when you can include this new destination into your dining plans.
And Megan, we're dealing with a few flurries still here across parts of central Indiana, but any significant snow shower activity has come to an end. That's the good news. We're about to enter a chilly but quiet stretch of weather here going forward throughout the remainder of the day. Today, we'll talk about that and look ahead to the weekend as well, coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
It is 4:42 on your Wednesday. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. We're keeping a close eye on traffic. Let's look to our west at I-7 here. This camera is west of State Road 39. You can see traffic is moving along up to speed, both eastbound and westbound. So no problems if you're traveling through Monrovia. Maybe you're heading through Plainfield or the west side of Indianapolis. Everything is traveling smoothly, and I'm not monitoring any crashes. Of course, we'll keep you updated. Megan?
Lauren, thank you. An Amber Alert continues this morning for two kids taken from a foster home in Greece, New York. Authorities say two men broke into a window in the home and abducted 3-year-old Shakira and 5-year-old Dimitri Cash Jr. It's believed the children are in serious danger. Police say they found an abandoned van and the suspects used in the abduction. Officers say the suspects were dressed the same. They were each wearing a flannel shirt, work pants, and black ski masks, as well as black knit hats. This morning, officers are begging the public to come forward with any information.
Need your help. I'm not going to stand up here and say that we know where these guys are, these beautiful little children, because we don't. And we need the help of the public to find them.
Police say the children's biological father, Dimitri Cash, is a person of interest in this situation. He was charged last year with forcibly removing his son from school.
At 4:43 this morning, Senator Richard Burr is off the hook in a federal investigation into suspected insider trading. The North Carolina Republican says the Department of Justice told him that probe has been closed. Burr's attorney says that investigators decided not to take any further action. They were looking into Burr's stock transactions just before the coronavirus sent markets into a nosedive. Under insider trading laws, prosecutors would have to prove that he made the trades using confidential information. Burr denied wrongdoing all along, saying that he used only public information to trade.
Visitors now have a new hotel option near the Indianapolis International Airport. On Tuesday, city and business leaders cut the ribbon on Town Place Suites. It sits near I-70 and Ameriplex Parkway, just outside of the airport. The pandemic has greatly impacted the hotel industry. Jim Dora, the president and CEO of General Hotels Corporation, says this opening is a reason to celebrate.
With the pandemic going on and all of the things that everybody struggles with in Indianapolis, this is a bit of good news. We've hired people. We're going to have people put to work, that we didn't have working before. We're going to add to the tax base of the city, which is important all the way around.
Exciting moment. The new hotel includes 89 guest rooms and a meeting room, Lauren.
Well, Megan, you'll soon have another place to enjoy a wide variety of dining near downtown Indianapolis. An artisan marketplace called AMP will open inside the 16 Tech Innovation District. The 40,000 square foot facility will have space for more than 20 different vendors. 7 vendors have already signed on to be part of this project. The project is expected to open in March on Indiana Avenue between 10th and 16th Streets. You can find a list of the vendors in this story. Just go to the WRTV News app. All right, let's get a check of our forecast on this Wednesday. And Todd, yesterday, as you always say, the sunshine helps a lot in terms of feeling like it's warmer out there.
Yeah, it wasn't bad yesterday afternoon. I walked outside after a little nap after the noon show, and I said, this doesn't feel too bad. And then the clouds came in, and it was a different story. And this morning, as you can see, we still have the clouds out there, and we also have a wind. The flag, you can see right here on top of the One America building, is coming right at us, so it's a little hard to see, but it is fully extended this morning as we are factoring in some pretty significant wind chills across the area. There's the wind northwest at 14 miles per hour. Feels like 16 degrees right now. The actual temperature that is at 27. All across the area, temperatures are in the 20s with the exception of a couple 30s there in Bedford as well as Connorsville. It's 27 right now in Martinsville and 26 as you make the trek from Crawfordsville up towards the Lafayette area. Factor in the wind though, and it feels like it is currently in the teens in most locations. Now going forward throughout the day today, it's going to be a struggle to warm things up even as we start to get into more in the way of sunshine. Morning clouds give way to that sunshine throughout the afternoon hours. Your noontime temperature only 27 degrees, and then we'll continue to warm up into the low 30s as we work our way into the afternoon hours. And that's just about it. Wind chill values throughout the entire day. They are going to remain in the 20s, so you really need to bundle up if you're going to be out and about. We have clouds from Indianapolis to the north. A few flurries still possible here as you work your way from Muncie over towards the Winchester area down towards Richmond as well. And then as you work your way to the south, no flurries, but still a lot of clouds around. But these should move out fairly quickly throughout the course of the morning. Some of you may linger with the cloud cover a little longer than others off to the east, but the overall trend will be for the clouds to decrease. And you see that on TrueCast here. Look at the timestamp. By 11 a.m., just some thick clouds off to the east, clearing throughout the afternoon hours. So it does definitely get brighter as the day goes on. And it starts a pretty decent stretch of weather for us. That's going to take us all the way into the weekend. Really, our next chance of precipitation, that does not arrive in this forecast until we get to the day on Sunday, the latter half of Sunday, for that matter. Overnight tonight, temperatures will be in the 20s. Tomorrow, how about this? It's the best weather day of the week for your Thursday. We have the sunshine. It's also the warmest day. 40 degrees by the noon hour, 44 degrees as we work our way to your high temperature tomorrow. And then it gets much colder again. In fact, Friday and Saturday, it's a struggle to get above freezing. But as our next storm system comes in, it's going to bring some warmer temperatures with it, which will be good news because that'll mean that most of the precipitation will be in the form of rain, although overnight, Sunday into Monday, there could be a little bit of a wintry mix. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a live look right now in the Greenfield area. Good morning to you in Hancock County. Here's I-70 near State Road 9. Traffic is traveling up to speed here. No delays to slow you down. So let's take one more look right now from our camera here on US 31. This is at Main Street up in Hamilton County. Good morning to drivers in Carmel this morning. We'll keep you updated if there are any delays, but right now everything is pretty quiet. Megan.
Lauren, thank you. To college basketball now. The Purdue Boilermakers on the road taking on number 15 Ohio State. We'll skip to the last few seconds in the game, all tied up in Columbus. Freshman Jaden Ivey with the ball and the three-pointer to give Purdue the lead. A free throw by the Buckeyes would get the game within 2 points, but not enough time for Ohio State to get back in the lead. Purdue with their first win over the top 15 team since 2012. The Boilermakers host number 7 Michigan on Friday in West Lafayette. And Butler was on the road at DePaul in Chicago. The Bulldogs looking to follow up on their win over the 11th ranked Creighton on Saturday. And they do. Butler beating DePaul 67-53. The Bulldogs host Seton Seton Hall at Hinkle Fieldhouse on Friday. There we go, Lauren. Some sports knowledge for you.
Sports. Oh, yeah. I love it. All right. Well, this morning, countdown to the month of May is on. Still ahead, why a special announcement is making this year's Indy 500 extra special for one team.
The Circle City is coming off a record number of homicides in 2020. We're live at 5 o'clock with what city leaders have on the agenda to make the city a safer place. Stay with us. That's right after the break.
WRTV.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. There were no jackpot winners in last night's Mega Millions drawing, but you could still have walked away with some extra cash. So let's take a look at the winning numbers. 10, 19, 26, 28, 50 with the Mega Ball 16. Friday's jackpot now sits at $970 million. Yes, so the 105th running of the Indianapolis 500, Megan, it's a little more than 4 months away.
Lauren, our Brad Brown reports a special announcement is building some excitement towards another new team for this year's race.
For most of the past half century, women have been part of the story each and every May at the Indy 500. This year, a new chapter is ready to be written.
We want Peretta Autosport to be the place to welcome, train, and support professional growth in all facets of the team. Eventually, we hope it'll be a team of women running the car, and that can and will inspire others.
Beth Peretta is the owner of Peretta Autosport. Decades of experience as an executive and team director. She's putting together a team built around women at every level, from the paddock to pit lane to the starting grid. All of it part of IMS's Race for Equality and Change program.
We will strive to incorporate more women into the team. I've always believed that with aptitude, interest, and the right attitude, the rest can be learned.
When we're talking about not just walking it, but actually walking what we talk, living what we preach, and creating an opportunity for people to actually be able to see something and know that they can be it.
The new team will have a partnership with Team Penske providing technical support. Chevrolet engines will power the number 16 car.
Mr. Penske has always been a bit of a mentor, and I think a lot of people will say that, those who know him. And he's been very generous with just ideas and thoughts, and that is sort of that intangible stuff that I am extremely grateful for.
Peretta has tabbed Simona de Silvestro as her driver. Simona was Rookie of the Year at the 500 back in 2010, finishing 14th place. She made 5 career starts at Indy.
The Indy 500 has always been one of the race that, if it was possible, that I wanted to do. And to be honest, to come back, how we are now with this team, with Beth making this happen, I think it's really cool. And I think we really have all the ingredients to be super successful.
If you're open to the opportunity, your life can take turns that you wouldn't have ever scripted for yourself. And I think that's sort of the end story here.
Beth says the team's plan right now is to run only the Indy 500 this year, but perhaps maybe adding 1 or 2 more races later in the season. The hope of running a full IndyCar calendar in 2022. Working for you, Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
All right, thank you, Brad. Exciting news there from IMS yesterday. And, of course, we're all looking here, hopefully, to the month of May, and not only the 500, but some warmer temperatures as well. We'll briefly get warmer tomorrow, up to 44 degrees with lots of sunshine. It's by far the best weather day of the week, or at least of the next 7 days, as you can see, because it gets much cooler again on Friday and Saturday with temperatures that'll be below freezing. In fact, Saturday morning is really, really cold with a low of 15. Next storm system brings a little bit of a wintry mix Sunday into Monday, but eventually that goes over to all rain. We'll talk more about your forecast. I have the latest news headlines as well when Raphael joins the ladies and myself coming up here at 5 o'clock.